Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show. And here on the Total Truth Show, we want to help you break free from the lies and propaganda of the mainstream media, all the disinformation and misinformation. We want to help you blast through all of that. And my name is Ken Kleinberg, coming to you all the way from the USA, San Diego, California.
And I'm Aldwyn Altuney, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
There is a great awakening happening in the world right now, and you're going to want to come along for the ride.
A lot of lies are coming to the surface. There's a lot of awakening happening. And as this awakening is happening, people realize they're being deceived for years. They've been lied to for years around all sorts of things. A lot of people have been blind to what has been going on in the world, and now they're starting to see. They're starting to see things in a different light.
Through our show, we want to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass. And we don't want you just to accept the things that we're saying. That goes for our guests as well. We want you to do the research for yourself. Get out there and start questioning things. Start looking things up. Do the research. We want to pave the way for a new awakened world. And we want you to come along for the ride. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Yes, welcome to Total Truth Show, episode 79. The truth about equality in partnerships is our topic today. Of course, my amazing co-host, Ken Kleinberg, is with us from San Diego. How are you going today, Ken?
Excellent.
Fantastic. And we've got Raymond Kopakowski with us all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome, Raymond.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Nice to be on. I missed the music. Bring back the music. That was cool.
I love it. Now, a little bit about Raymond for those who just joined us. And hello for all of our people joining us live right now on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. Welcome. Let us know, where are you joining us from? I can see Unique Resilience has joined us there on Instagram. Hello. Now, Raymond is a partnership coach with a unique background in hypnotherapy. After transitioning from hypnotherapy to relationship coaching, Raymond noticed several shortcomings in traditional relationship coaching methods. This led him to evolve his approach, focusing on partnership coaching, where he integrates universal messages that come to him as a channel. He believes these insights, which continue to guide his work, are inspired by the universe, helping him offer deeper guidance and support to his clients. Wow, that sounds fascinating, Raymond. Can't wait to hear from you today.
Me too.
We'll see what comes out today. We never know with this show. It's all very free range, the way we do our Total Truth shows, very organic. Now, I love this guidance and being a channel. Is this something that you've noticed your whole life, or is it something that came to you later in life?
It's weird in different aspects. It's been with me through my whole life. Yeah. I've had a very rough childhood, an interesting childhood. A lot of people said they had a rough childhood. Mine started before birth, but there was always something about me that I could see something, or I didn't actually see it. I got messages that were telling me that things aren't as they should be. They aren't as they're being presented. It's a little bit different, and I've always had that kind of thing. I probably somewhere in the early 70s, I was on my own, and I was living in San Diego, and for some reason I started doing healing with people, and they called me the Block Doc down there. And I had people would come with shoulder ailments and, stomach stuff. I had women that would, having menstrual cramps and this, but everybody would come to me, and, and I think that's where it started from. I just remembered that a little while ago because I was thinking about things. Your show sounds very interesting to me, and it got me thinking about my life and all this stuff in very different ways. And so I'm really interested to see how this is going to turn out.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds amazing. The Block Doc is very cool. I do love that. You've got a bit of a Dr. Phil about you there, Raymond.
Yeah,
Dr. Phil feel, but a Dr. Phil, a spiritual doctor, perhaps.
The universal channel thing really came into play when I started making the change from relationships. I got impatient. I was doing hypnosis. I'll give you a background. I was doing hypnosis, and hypnosis, I kept feeling like, the part that I didn't like about hypnosis is that if I did something with someone, instead of them taking credit for it, instead of them saying that they did this or that they were involved in their healing, they would say, well, I went to a hypnotherapist and he helped me out. I really liked that. And I felt like I was supposed to be doing something where to aid people to do whatever it is that they were going to do in this situation. So I slowly slipped away, and it was just a natural kind of thing. I slipped away from hypnosis, talking to people more, and then eventually just the hypnosis went away. I didn't do it anymore. And I'm trained. I'm a clinical and sports hypnotherapist. So I let that all go, and I started doing relationships. And then after a period of so many years of working with relationships, I kept hearing these people, everybody that came to me wanted to know how to fix what they did. That's what they wanted. They were, what do we do about this? How do we get over things? How do we forget about things? And I kept saying, something's wrong with this. And I recognized at one point, I started hearing these voices and stuff, because I do get that. I can explain that part too. I don't understand it entirely. But I started getting this thing that how come nobody is asking me how to prevent it? How come they're interested in fixing things? And I realized that we're not taught about prevention. We're taught that relationships are hard. We're taught that women are crazy. We're taught that men don't communicate. We're taught all this kind of stuff. So when you're taught all that, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change that when you think that that's what you believe in? So it came to a point where I started to understand people calling themselves partners, and one of the entities or whatever it is that I channel with kept saying, they're not partners. They're not partners. They don't know what the hell partners is all about. And I was inquisitive about that, and eventually it showed, partnership really came to the forefront, and I recognized what partnership was all about and the differences between helping people become partners and leaving relationships alone. Yeah.
Now, when we say partnership today, now there's partnership, of course, as in people call themselves partners when they're in a relationship, when they're actually, having sex in the relationship. It's not just friendship. And then there's partnership in business. Now, can we just distinguish the two types of partnerships, the main two that I think of, and how they might differ, apart from generally not having sex with your business partners?
Some people do.
Well, some people do. That's true.
It's
and
not all.
That could make it or break it, right?
It's a really good question, and something that I realized a while ago is that the basis, when you start to teach people how to become partners, the first thing that you're doing is telling them, giving them a route to work from, and that route is, I want to be happy. So they want to be happy, and I tell them, repeat, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. Don't say anything else. Don't add another word. Just really embed this in yourself that you want to be happy. I'm getting to your point, by the way. So you want to be happy. And then once you're sure that you want to be happy, then you can start to add a word. I want to be happy with you. So if I want to be happy with you, then I've got a responsibility to make sure that our transactions with each other are good, so that what comes back to me lets me be happy. This works really well in a one-on-one partnership where people can decide that they can be in a relationship. But the other part of it is, and this is what I was getting from you guys, and I'm really glad to talk to you about this, is that this is the kind of thing that has really far-reaching meanings. If I want to be happy with somebody and I go to work, now here's the business part of it. And I go to work and we're in business and I'm in a partnership in business and we're partners and all that. So the same things apply. I've got to figure out what to do in this situation in my business and with these people. If I'm playing sports, I've got to figure out how to handle those kinds of things, because ultimately what I do will come back to me and affect my happiness. So I want to be happy at work. I really do. My boss is a pain in the ass. I got to am I allowed to say ass?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I figure, yeah, what can you do? So I got to figure out how to work this out. So I've got to figure out how to handle the outside world so it doesn't affect me in a negative way. Because if it affects me in a negative way, it's going to affect my partnership. And if it affects my partnership, it's ultimately going to affect my happiness. Okay. So everything is about being. Do you know about my book? Did I tell you? The book, let's see if you can see it here. Universal Guide to a Healthy Selfish Relationship / Partnership. Relationships crossed out. But selfishness is the key. And people think that they have these ideas about being selfish, and well, they should. When people are selfish in this world, it's really all about them and has nothing to do with other people. But a healthy, selfish person decides, how am I going to handle these situations in a way that you get something out of it and I get something out of it. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to make you the best partner that I can have, because it comes back to me. And I'm glad it helps you. I'm very glad, but I'm doing it in a really selfish way, because the truth is that I'm going to try and take care of you, but I'm going to do it for me because it makes me happy. And if it makes me happy, then I'm more likely to continue to do it. If I'm doing something with the intention of you, taking care of you, that's what was happening in relationships when men thought that you talk to a woman in a certain way and basically you shut her up. You do these kinds of things. You give her chocolate, you give her flowers and everything. Why? Because it shuts her up. And if you do that kind of stuff, I think that it's great to give a woman flowers and stuff, but it's much better to learn and connect with her, to listen to her, to find out, what is it that she can bring to this situation that's going to make the situation better. I want to learn how to do all that kind of stuff, because if I'm doing it for me, I'll last a lot longer. I don't give up as quickly. Without a doubt, I don't give up as quickly. And I get to be happy. And I get to have somebody with me that's happy too.
I think that's great. And interesting about being happy. A lot of people say, I just want to be happy. So what is it that makes you happy? And really, actually, no one else really can make you happy, right? It's an inside job, I believe. It is an inside job. However, sometimes people can add to your happiness, and sometimes they can deplete your happiness sometimes, in effect, by their energy, right? People can, with their energy, you can feel elevated or you can feel deflated sometimes. And, partnership I see as something, it's got to be a win-win situation for it to last. If it's not a win situation where both sides are happy in the partnership and they have open communication, I think that's one of the biggest things in partnership, is to be able to talk about anything, even if it's something that the other person might not like to hear, actually to be able to have straight conversations and say, look, this isn't working for me here, or this is working, or, this is great, I really like this, but I don't like this for whatever reason. Having that open communication takes a lot of emotional maturity. Can we chat now about the importance of emotional maturity for a great partnership?
Okay. Most people that I work with are still children, to start you off. I mean, everybody is living off of what their parents told them and what they see in television and shows and all that kind of thing. The idea about partnership is very, very different, and people are sort of amazed at when they work with me, when I do my one-on-one sessions. You can see the light go on. You can see people go, "Hey, how come I didn't know this? How come this, how this makes so much sense? It's so easy." The idea about this is that I'm not going to, okay, let's just say that me and you started up a business. Okay. If I had a business, I've got a woodworking company, or I sell shoes, or whatever it is. I've got a business, and you walked through the door and you said, "Hey, I'd like to be your partner." I wouldn't say yes. It's a business. I would go, why would I want you to be my partner? And you would say, "Well, I've been watching you for a little while, and I like the business, and I can bring this. I'm good at social media. I'm great with people." And I would go, okay, what else you got? What else is there? And then we would find out if we get along. We would find out if we could communicate and all that. And then maybe we would say, let's give it a try. But what we would do first is find value in each other, understand what it is that we're doing with each other and what each other's purpose is in this kind of situation, and then see if the other person really wants to be a partner or not. If they really want to be a partner, then things like negative things that happen. You have negative things that happen in a relationship. The first thing that you're going to do is try to fix it and try to get over it. And I think that when you talk about something that happened that hurt you, you already know you were hurt. You already know that this happened. This exploded the relationship. We went at each other. We yelled and screamed. We already know that. So when we're trying to fix things, we could take that off the table. We don't have to bring emotions to it. We don't have to bring and point fingers at it. We could say, "You said you wanted to be partners, right? Yeah, I want to be partners too. So what happened in this situation that we could fix as a result of knowing how we screwed it up?" Negativity is very important in learning how to fix things and learning how to get close. Negativity is really important in seeing what the other person's intentions are. If somebody's with you and they want to work it out, you know it, and you feel good about the fact that, okay, maybe they hurt you or maybe you hurt them, but the intention of fixing and protecting the partnership is still there. That's what's important, and that's what brings us close. I've changed the idea of negativity being negative and said that it's an opportunity. It's not negative. Issues are never important. How we treat each other concerning the issues, that's what's important. That
Yes.
makes more sense? It's so
Yes.
simple. It really is very, very simple, very easy to do, and I love that about it.
Yeah, being kind to others, I think, is very important. Being kind to self and being kind to others. And as they say, hurt people. And if someone is hurting, well, I guess they're going to be hurting in the partnership too. And it can be a real drain. And I know there's a lot of people have been ripped off in partnerships in business, and they have big issues trusting people in business particularly. So what are some things to avoid partnerships going AWOL?
Okay, some of the things that happen, I see. In order for a partnership to go AWOL, like you just said, you have to not do some of the tools that you've learned how to use. So if you know how to use these different tools, if somebody gets angry in a partnership, and you have a tool, let's just say that the person has a tendency to go off the handle and then have to come back. Okay, so they're losing their minds, and they got to come back. You would say one of the tools that you could say is that, listen, before you go any further, before you start yelling and screaming, tell me you love me. Before you start flipping out, tell me how that's going to help us out. Those are two tools that people can learn how to use. I know that you don't want to hurt me. I know that you love me. I know that you're trying to protect a relationship, but I also know that you're human and you're a dumbass sometimes and you do stupid stuff. So that supersedes my knowledge of your intentions, supersedes what it is that you do. inside a partnership, you don't get to get hurt. You don't get to stay hurt for days. You don't get to do that. You get to acknowledge your hurt. You always have to feel your feelings. I never tell people not to feel their feelings. You feel your feelings, and then you come in and you go, well, partner, what are we going to do about it? What can we learn from this? And that makes it worthwhile. Now, the thing about this was that something that scared me early on was infidelity. I wondered about infidelity and how that was going to work. And there was a period there when I was a good maybe 2 years into dealing with partnership, teaching partnership. And I recognized, I went to my honey and I said, I bet you 70% of the people that I'm seeing right now are came to me with some type of infidelity, either physical, like an affair or something, or being online and talking to other people. There was some kind of infidelity. I said, I really needed to know, how do you turn infidelity into something positive? Wow. Can you imagine, telling somebody, hey, this is good. You're going to learn a lot from this. they don't like they don't like hearing that. But the truth of the matter is that we see it from one side. We have always seen infidelity as being a blow to the person who got cheated on. Generally speaking, the person who did the cheating is hurting as well, or distance, or alone. Something is going on with the person who did the cheating. And so that has got to be taken into consideration too. When you learn those kinds of things, I don't say that a person who gets cheated on should forgive until they've gotten so much out of it that it looks okay. It's like, I have seen this happen. I have seen people look at each other and say, we would never be this close if that hadn't happened. We would never have worked this hard if that hadn't happened. Terrible thing. I mean, sometimes I feel like going to people and go, listen, go cheat on each other and then come back and see me. I don't do that, but it's like a little out of my mind.
Yeah, I always think if someone's cheating in a relationship, then clearly there's something lacking there that they would want to cheat. Otherwise, if they're happy in their relationship, why would they want to cheat?
Well, I think the thing about being happy in a relationship is sort of, there's so many pitfalls that go along with being in a relationship that it's I think that the best people do is a really high level of tolerance for each other. And I don't know. And now look, this is all because of, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been doing it with people who are in trouble. I'm sure that there are people out there that are going to disagree with this kind of thing, but I think that people in relationships are generally in a constant state of repair. And I think that they're only not lonely when they're sitting there next to each other, but when the guy goes off to work, or she's going out someplace and she's doing her work and things like that, and the person's, people feel lonely really, really quick. In relationships. And they don't do that in partnerships. Partnerships is like, we're going out today and listen, the last time, here you go. Got a lot of people over the years. I've had two areas of people that have come to me on a pretty continuous basis, and that's surgeons and lawyers. I get a lot of them. Surgeons in particular. These people have got lives in their hands. They have to be right. They have to be strong, and they have to be, they got to know what's going on, and they have to have control. And those people, they will leave the house and they're alone. They're deeply alone. They are on their own. They control all these people around them. And I've never seen people like that, that really need to have a connection before they go into that theater. Before they walk in and start to operate on, cut somebody open, they need to know that there's somebody there that really does care about them, that is their partner, that has their back, that's taking care of the kids, that's watching all this stuff, and that they're there because, and they're doing all this kind of stuff because of his situation. So, and that's what partnership does. Partnership is what is it that you need from me? What do you need from me so that I can focus on you so that you can be the best partner that I can have?
Mm.
I don't. There isn't a real strong change of focus that happens between people from me being a husband and you being the wife. You've got your duties. I've got my duties. To being equals in a partnership. Partnership demands equality. It's great stuff for women. Women really need to have this power, and they need to have they need to be able to give themselves permission to have that power, to feel that power, and to say we're equals. We have to be equals in this for this to work.
Mm.
So I think that that's another extremely good thing for partners. Ken, you've been thinking a lot.
Yes, I have just been kind of like soaking it in and taking it
I
in
can
and
see.
thinking about it. Um, yeah, I definitely see the value in partnerships versus relationship, but I do think so. I think both have a crucial role to play, relationship and partnerships. And I think there's room for both for sure. But I totally understand what you're saying with a partnership and the equality part of the partnership. So I do definitely agree that it needs to be equal parts on both sides. There is sometimes room for, perhaps a sacrifice or two or whatever. That's also
Sure.
part of it. That's also part of the give and take part of partnerships. Um, so, I mean, yeah, a simple example of a partnership that is current is Aldwyn and I. Our partnership with the Total Truth Show. We both co-host this. We both work with each other on it, and we both worked really hard to get this to where it is, approaching episode 80. And yeah, and even down to our cover photo, our new cover photo that we had. It was really cool. I put the first part of it together and and then I shared her the link to Canva, and she went on there, and we were kind of both live on there at the same time, and I was watching her making changes. At first, some of the changes she was making, I was just like, "Oh wait, don't change that." I kind of like that. And then as we were kind of like working together with it, it just kind of all of a sudden, boom, came together, and there it was. So, I mean, I think that's a perfect example of partnership. Even though I did
Mhm.
express to her in the beginning, hey, I really don't want to change that. I want to lose that. But, I also kind of um, let her creativity shine in that. And it turns
Nice.
out what we produced both together was a brilliant thing. I mean, I still look at our cover photo and I love it. I mean, it pops. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's great. So it's just another example
Uh,
of partnership. And Total True Show is also another example of the partnership that we have. And so, yeah, and I think it also extends to coach and mentor and different things like that. Partnerships there too. A coach and a mentor is not going to work if um if the client is not following with what the coach is telling the client to do. That's not a good partnership. That's not going to
mhm.
work. And if you've paid for the coach that you've got, then now not only are you wasting that coach's time, but you've also just wasted your own money because you're not doing what you hired the coach to tell you to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to say in there.
See, okay, so I see partnership as being a step above relationship. I see that and I tell people that the idea about being partners, about being in a relationship has been handed down. We've been doing this thing for, since man, since forever, back in the caveman days. So who the hell knows where it started? But partnership is the thing about that's different here is that me and my partner, can decide to have a relationship. We can decide that this is what we want to do, but we have more control of what that relationship is going to look like. Somebody may decide to be inside the partnership. Somebody might say, something, I really like being a mother. I really like taking care of the kids in the house. We say, okay, so what do I have to do to make sure that you feel good about that? And then I've got your back with it. And then you would say, okay, well, you've got to go to work and you got to do all this kind of stuff. And I know that I'm talking stereotypes here, but that's in relationships. That's what it is. So both people have got to have recognition and understanding from the other person that this is what we've decided to do. One person, when I wrote my book, everybody around is looking at the book and saying, wow, you did a great job. My name is on that book. I'm the one that came up with this. I did all this, and I. But the truth is that she had the final say in everything. She brings stuff to this thing that I could never dream of. I was a typical guy. I got it all done, and I said, it's done. I'm going to send it in. And she said, let me take a look at it before you do it. And I was, I mean, that, because I'm a guy. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I went, of course. And I gave it to her. And honestly, she was a couple pages into it. And she goes, is this what you meant? Is this what you saw? She sees things that I never see. She brings a different person to our partnership than I will ever be. And I have to honor that. I have to recognize what she does, and because it benefits me. It's a good thing. Most guys, I look at it, I'm done. Everything is good. But she's not that way. She's a woman, and she's going to look at this stuff, and she's going to tear it all apart. And she wants to put all the pieces together so that ultimately it's good. And it makes me look good. It makes me look great and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that she understands how much, we don't have to. I have to make sure that she understands how much I appreciate, what she does and what she brings to this whole thing, because that's really what she wants. He wants to be recognized, wants to feel, like important, wants to feel, that I'm not taking advantage of her in those kinds of ways. And so partnership does all that kind of stuff, and it does it all to protect the partnership. It's not about protecting each other. It's that she wants to be a part. She wants a partnership. I want a partnership. Working together, how do we protect what it is that we want?
I love that. It's a team effort, really, isn't it? It's bringing your strengths and bringing their strengths together, and being able to let go is what I'm hearing and what you're saying too. That being able to allow someone to contribute to what it is you're doing. Now, I just looked up the meaning of the word partnership, and there's a whole lot of interesting stuff online. And I found this Greek, it actually stems from the Greek word partnership. Koinonia is translated in the Bible in many ways. It's actually partnership is also seen as fellowship, contribution, and communion. And the word implies an intimacy in striving together to work towards the same goal. Now, I think that's really, really important, is actually being very clear on what the goal is. And, sometimes we might stumble through life, and we maybe if we're not clear on the goal and we don't have similar intentions, then obviously it takes two to tango in a partnership. Well, the partnerships can take a lot more than two people. You can have a partnership with 10 people, right? You can, so it doesn't necessarily have to be two people. And it is important to be on the same page. Now, Ken and I have been doing Total Truth Show for 3 years or so now.
Yeah.
We met during COVID, and we've kept the show going every week or every second week ever since then. Now, I also started another co-hosted show with a lady called Kirsten Linnartz called Media Mavens Show. Now, interestingly, we were doing weekly shows, and then she had other personal issues going on, and then we went to monthly shows, and now she's just not feeling well. She's come down with some personal health issues, and so now the show is on hold, right? We've done 12 episodes or so. So it's changing. Our partnership is changing, and we're working with what's going on in our personal lives. Now, I'm still committed to doing the show and to keeping the show going. However, she's now come down with some personal health challenges, and now she's wanting to just step back for the moment and pause until she feels better, or until she gets her personal stuff under control, which I respect that, and I'm giving her the space to do that. And I'm not committed. I'm attached and not committed to whether the show does continue. I would love it to continue. However, at the end of the day, it takes a partnership. It takes two to tango. You know, and so we'll see where that show goes. But, you know, this can happen sometimes. This is where a lot of people start podcasts. They might have a co-hosted podcast, and most people don't do more than 3 episodes. Even less people do more than 10 episodes of a podcast. So it's very, very important, I think, to get clear on your goals from the beginning and what you're committed to. What are your thoughts on that, Raymond?
Well, I think something that I said, if you were doing a podcast with her and she's not feeling well and she may not be able to to continue this thing, it would be good to make sure that you stay in touch and you talk to her and you tell her that everything is okay, and you work out a way for it to be okay, that she understands that you understand her plight right now. And that's going to help out somewhere down the line, whether you guys get back together or not. That would be something that would be important. I'm gonna take care of you so that ultimately we can get back to doing what we wanted to do. I think that would be good. What was I thinking? I was thinking about the connection. I got the voices are coming in right now too, so they're trying to tell me something. So if you're doing, okay, I'm sorry, this is a channel here. So if you're doing something right now and you're connected with this person, you're doing another show with somebody, and they feel sick. There's something about it. So that's what they're telling me to do here is to oh, okay. All right. So there it is. Sorry guys. So this is what happens when I channel. So what I'm being told to is that inside a partnership, you may not always agree on something, and that's a little bit different than what you were saying, that somebody's getting sick. And inside a partnership, you have a meeting. This is what we're going to do. We're back to this store thing. I want to go out and I want to buy 10,000 shoes, and I'm getting a really good price on 10,000 shoes. And you go, are you out of your mind? We can't afford 10,000 shoes. And I say, okay, well, how about if we did it this way, and we talk about it and stuff. And you say, okay, listen, if you're very serious and you think that this is really going to help, I don't particularly agree with you. I don't agree with you. But if we're going to do it, then how do I help you succeed? It's more important for me to be there for my partner, take care of my partner, than to sit back and say, see, told you so, told you it wasn't going to work. That doesn't work. So inside a partnership, when we agree to do something, we agree to do that together, protect the partnership, we make a decision, and if it doesn't work, nobody gets blamed. Nobody gets judged for these things. We decided together that we were going to try and do this. Did I agree with it? No, I didn't agree with it. But how about if it worked out really well? How about if I didn't agree with the direction that we were going to take and it made us a ton of money and people loved it and all this kind of stuff? Would I go, oh, I'm not going to benefit from that because I didn't agree? No, I want to be there the whole time, all the way through, is that we're partners. We decide what we're going to do. We decide how we're going to treat each other, and then we help each other treat each other that way. Sometimes there's stuff inside partnership that make it very difficult. And here it is again. Okay. All right. Okay. So it's about communication. Give me a second here, because yeah. All right. So communication. Communication is a very big thing inside my sessions. I'm back. Okay. It's a very big thing inside my sessions. People will say, and it's mostly women that say, he won't talk to me. He doesn't communicate. He says he wants to communicate and everything, but then when I do, he shuts down, blah, 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 all this stuff. And so I can't trust him. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's happening. He's holding out on me. How come he can't communicate? Well, the first reason that he can't communicate like that is because he's not a woman. He communicates very differently than a woman will ever communicate. And that's, you guys can out-talk us, out-think us, and the whole deal. Okay, so he's a guy. If I tell him that he needs to communicate, and he does, he says, okay, I'm going to communicate. All the reasons that he was having trouble communicating, we'll never know what those were, and those problems will come out in another direction. If a guy feels like he's afraid to say something because he's going to get chastised for it, if he doesn't want to talk because he grew up in a house where children are supposed to be seen and not heard, that might be some reason that is preventing good communication from happening. So just to simply turn around and say, we have to fix this. These are our problems. We have got to fix them. Be careful about what you fix, because it might not actually be the problem. The problem could be much deeper. It could be, why are you acting this way? If you tell me that you want to communicate with me, what's stopping you from doing that? And it could be, I'm scared to death of women. I'm scared to death. I don't feel safe talking to women. I can't get a word in, or whatever it is. And that wouldn't be with the partner. That could be from childhood or being in school. You don't know where a message like that comes from. But inside a partnership, we got to look at what's going on, look at the things that are problems, and say, what's behind this thing? What is actually going on here? And then fix that, and then see if we can communicate. And generally speaking, you can.
So in other words, it's kind of the same thing that I do with my own clients. It's helping them not put a Band-Aid on things, but helping them helping them actually solve the real problem, the real solution, giving them a real solution to the issue. So, in my case, my clients, a lot of my clients come to me, they've got snacking issues, they've got hunger issues, they've got sugar addictions, they've got all these different things going on. And the industry out there is going to place Band-Aids on it. It's like, oh, well, you need to do this, or you need to eat this instead, and you need to go over here, and you need to do this, and take this medicine and take that medicine, or, so many mixed messages. And so what I do is I go in, no, okay, so here's what the real truth around nutrition is. Here's what the real truth around eating these sort of things versus these sort of things are. And here's what these are causing. And here's what these foods are designed to cause. So now I'm showing them the truth of the matter and empowering them to then have the real solution to stop the snacking issues, to stop the hunger issues, to stop the sugar addictions. And so that's the real solution, is getting to the root of the issue, not slapping a Band-Aid on it, not just, well, I'm just going to go on this diet and I'm just going to lose this 20 pounds and be done with it. That's actually a Band-Aid solution. That's actually not solving the actual problem, because how many people do you know that go on a diet, gain the weight back over time? Right? Almost everybody does. 95% of the people do. And that's because the way they have approached their weight loss is a Band-Aid fix. They just want a quick Band-Aid fix. They just want the microwave solution, and let's be done with it. Honest to goodness, though, I mean, and I've said this over and over again, and I feel like I sound like a broken record, even on this show. Like I've said it so many different times. If you're going to do all that work to lose the weight, why not do it in a way that makes it to where it's the last time you ever have to do it ever again? But again, that goes back to finding the real solution. And
It's yeah. No, that sounds really good. I've had a couple experiences when I did hypnosis. One of the things that I did is hypnotic gastric band, and generally speaking, that was a disaster. People would lose weight for a while, but it did not have the strength, the lasting strength that those people needed. And so those things, initially everybody loved it, and it worked for a while, and sometimes it worked for a good period of time, but eventually it just fell apart. I do occasionally run into weight loss inside the partnerships. Somebody had a couple babies, and now she's overweight and all that stuff. And there's a thing inside partnership that if we both recognize that you're not happy with this kind of stuff, how can I help you out? How can I be there without you feeling that it's a judgment, without you feeling like, all the things that have come across? How would I be able to help you out?
mm-hmm.
And having somebody inside a partnership that would say, listen, you told me, if you say, I don't want to have sweets, I don't want to have sweets. And me as a partner, I came up to you and I said, yeah, you're eating candy again. You're eating candy. And you said you weren't going to eat candy and all that stuff. That's grounds for divorce. That's like stupidity. But if I said, honey, hang on a second, you told me to tell you when you were starting to eat sweets again, you said that was something that you'd like to address. I'm here to tell you, if you need any help with it, are you okay? That kind of loving thing between partners can go a long way. A person would feel like, you understand that I have this difficulty. I mean, myself, I've been sober since 1984, and I smoked a boatload of cocaine and drank. I drank. I'm pickled. Janet keeps saying to me, you shouldn't be as healthy. I said, I'm not really as healthy as you think. I'm pickled, and so, so those kinds of things, it changed when I started to feel okay about myself. When I started to feel like I loved me a little bit, then things started to change, because up until that point, everything that I did throughout my life, I think I told you I was in show business when I was a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, all this stuff. I mean, there was no slouch. I sung opera. It's a lyric opera company. I sang for a subsidiary of the Met. I danced with the Philadelphia Ballet Company. I was no slouch, so it wasn't just sort of, but the truth of the matter is I did all of that stuff so that somebody would love me. I was given up for adoption. And my mother, I was in an adopted family. As soon as I got home, my mother went into diabetic. She lost her sight, and I was in show business, and so I never got the love that I needed. And once I started to get it, then everything changed. I started to recognize the power of allowing myself to be loved. And then I didn't need the alcohol anymore. I had people in AA and CA that thought, man, are you smart? Holy crap, are you smart? And I didn't finish high school, guys. I left in my sophomore year. I haven't graduated, nothing. So all of this stuff that I have is just.
Well, the fact that you didn't finish high school says nothing. In fact, that actually does say, well, it does say something. I didn't mean it quite like that. The fact that you didn't finish high school, I think it actually says volumes. And here's what I mean by that. That's why you're a smarter person.
There you go.
Because you didn't finish high school. Because that entire school system is designed not for the benefit of we the people. It doesn't help us develop critical thinking. It doesn't help us develop logical skills. It doesn't help us develop practical business skills that's going to make us money and set us free. It
Yeah.
helps us develop skills that cause us to be into slavery and obedience. And so the fact that you didn't finish
100%.
high school, yeah, the fact that you didn't finish high school, good on you. Honestly,
Yeah.
good on you, because you're
Well,
smarter because of it, because you have learned to think for yourself.
uh-huh. And I've learned to be open about things and accept things. I think you're absolutely 100% right about this stuff. I don't have a problem. Uh, you know, uh, yeah, I don't know where I'd be if I had finished school. I mean, my school was terrible. Though. Camden, New Jersey, it was awful. Our school motto was "Don't expect too much. You won't be too disappointed." That was, you know,
Lovely. Boy, that
yeah,
just teaches so much. Oh my
yeah,
God.
Wow. Well, that's
yeah.
kind of the dating sites is just don't get your expectations too high, and then you won't get disappointed when it comes to the dating site. So clearly I'm a little bit resigned and cynical about that, but I agree with what Ken's saying here. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs never finish high school, so they have the street smarts, right? In fact, some of the
Yeah.
wealthiest people in the world never finished high school, but they got out there and they lived life, and
Yeah.
these are the people that are now in many ways leaders in their field. So I agree. The typical education system is very much a brainwashing type of system, and it creates people who become almost like zombies in a way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It does not encourage that critical thinking.
Yeah,
And
you don't want too many people thinking at the same time.
No,
yeah,
let me
forbid.
rephrase that. They don't want too many people thinking
It's
at the
true.
same time.
It's really true.
Yeah.
You guys are fun. I like this.
Well, thank you, Raymond. I'm enjoying this, and I quite enjoyed watching you channel there too. I find that very interesting. I know about the Seth books and about channeling. I've looked into channeling a fair bit. I know quite a few people who are channels, and I get messages and things. So, just on the point of channeling, is that something that anyone could tap into? Do you think, or is
I
it a
think
bit of a
so. Yeah, no, I absolutely think that anybody could do it. I'm good at it because I do it a lot. It's and I'm, it's weird, but I feel a lot of times like I'm chosen to give out information, and it's one of the only ways. Somebody asked me one time. I was working. I was in the middle of a session, and the girl that I was working with, she didn't say, "What are you doing?" She said, "What are you?" That's how she put it. She said, "What are you?" And I heard myself say, "I'm a universal channel." And she went, "Oh, like, yeah, okay, one of those." And I didn't know what a universal channel was, and this is where you come in. because I was thinking about universal channel and stuff, and I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. And if you look up universal channel, it's a TV station, and it's either in Australia or Austria. I'm not sure. So I'm either like in your town, but I don't know. you know but that's all that it said about universal channels, and so I guess that's what I am. But it's an odd thing because you saw me do that kind of stuff. It happens to me in a couple different ways, but when I'm working with people, sometimes I really feel practically a physical movement. I feel like I'm being pushed out of the way, and I listen to what I say, because I don't know what it is. I'm listening to what I'm telling these people. I'm listening to where it comes out, and sometimes I just go, "Wow, that was cool. I didn't know that." And so that's. But something, I've come to realize that people's needs dictate what's inside the universe, where the information needs to go. I think people are ready to hear this information. I think they're sick to death of relationships failing. Young people are starting to come to me for individual sessions. They're coming to me. They're asking the same thing as their parents. They're saying, "How do we fix all this kind of stuff?" They're asking that. But the second that I tell them that, something, what you should be asking is, how do you prevent it? Man, they're right on top of it, and they're ready for this new information. They're ready to say, oh, okay, so we're supposed to be equals, and we're supposed to be partners, and we're supposed to listen to each other and find out what the other person needs. Okay, I can do that. That to make me happy. Got it. You know, but I think that that's all in. I see energy. I see universal energy as being infused. And by that, I mean, when people have needs, it's not just simple energy anymore. It's energy that has a purpose. There's a reason for that energy to be there. There's a question in there. Maybe there's an answer in there. I don't understand that part of it, but that's this part of it's what I channel. So I sort of think that humanity across the board is ready for a change, is ready for people to recognize that we're all in this together. We're all connected. We're all part of this thing. We're all made out of the same stuff. And it's time to start taking away the things that divide us. Husband and wife, it divides us. It separates people. Now, inside a partnership, like I said, one person can be this or one person can be that, but we have to agree upon how that's going to work, not just do it. You know?
Yes, absolutely. And we're never alone, actually, for those who have faith. We're never alone, right? We always have spirit, universal energy within and
Sure.
around us, I believe. So we're never actually fully alone as spiritual beings
Yeah.
having a human experience. And we are all interconnected, as you say. And I do believe the powers that be, the elite, which many are very evil, many elite are very evil and
Yeah.
dark forces. They control through fear, they control through divide and rule, right? Which is actually, splitting up partnerships in effect. And we saw it through COVID, where one person wanted to get the jab and the other person didn't want to get the jab. How many relationships broke up on that simple thing alone, right?
Sure.
When government was enforcing all these mandates that really divided families and divided partnerships, divided relationships, marriages, families. It was interesting to see what happened there. And I do believe, coming back to your point on love, on self-love, I think this is so important, because when I heard, many years ago, when I heard that hurt people, that really made a lot of sense to me, and healed people, heal people, help to heal people. And so in partnerships, if you've got someone who's hurting, like I mentioned that, my Media Mavens show, my co-host at the moment, she's hurting in effect. She's got some health challenges. And so I'm there for her and I'm supporting her and I wish her the best with her healing journey, and I'm giving her space to heal. I'm not going to go in and get angry about it, the fact that she's not coming to do the show. I'm more concerned about her well-being, right? So it's bringing that love and compassion to the situation without trying to force a outcome. And that's where being committed, not attached, is really important, I think, in a partnership. Be committed to what you want, not attached to how that's going to look, because you can't control what other people do at the end of the day. We can only bring a bit to it the best we can in a kind, compassionate, loving manner. And then, what comes back, comes back. And I do believe everything happens for us, not to us. I do believe that we attract everything into our lives, and there's always learnings with everything. And I think it's important to enjoy the journey no matter what happens in life. Although I know, on the point of partnerships, I know many people in business who have been ripped off in business partnerships, right? A lot of people trust issues when it comes to, people being out of integrity and people, being greedy around money or ruthlessly ripping people off. And, this in itself has become a big issue, and through COVID, where people have major trust issues because we've seen spammers come out of the woodwork. There's so many scammers, multi-billion-dollar industry with the number of scammers we're seeing online, offline, in the dating world, in the business world, with all sorts of partnerships, with relationships, where you've got de facto claims and all sorts of things happening there as well that can get very nasty as well. So really, as we talk about the truth about equality in partnerships, what are some tips you can give people around how to remain peaceful no matter what happens in that partnership, and how to maybe notice some of these and maybe some clues that maybe you might think that you're working with someone who is ethical. I mean, I lost 40 grand trusting people in partnership that ended up being a complete scam, right? And that was a major learning for me because I didn't trust my intuition. I didn't do my due diligence in that situation. I rushed into something. I thought it was going to be the next best thing. I trusted the people who told me about it, and that was major learning for me. And then I think to myself, well, that could have been 400 grand. That could have been $4 million that I lost, So, however much it is that people have lost over time, and I'm sure at some point we've all been ripped off. And we have to take responsibility that we handed the money over, right? People, maybe, I'm sure everyone here at some point, someone said, can I borrow some money from you? Can I borrow some money? And I'm sure just about everyone out there never had that money come back, right? And so now I have a principle about that I just do not lend money now, right? I don't lend money regardless of the situation because, in my mind, well, there's no guarantee it's going to come back. I do donate to charities. That's a different thing. I still give generously. However, when it comes to borrowing money, I don't lend money. I just don't lend money. That's become a thing.
Well, I would say if like in myself, if somebody really needed it, and if they said that they're going to pay me back, I don't care. It's like I'm going to give you the money, and it's just money, and it's not. I don't care enough about being connected to it. Then if you don't pay me back, then it tells me about you. If you're still, if I gave you money and things just got worse for you, I would understand that. I would recognize that and go, yeah, okay, it was just money, but I prefer continuing with a relationship with somebody that has integrity or desires to do that kind of stuff. But if somebody's going to screw you, no, you're out of here. It's hard. It's hard to do that kind of thing because in order for any of this stuff to work, you have to have some level of commitment. You have to inside a partnership. You sort of have to really like the other person. Maybe you got the feels and you want to just thinking you love each other. You gotta get that kind of thing. And you feeling this too, or you really like spending time with me. You really care and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well then what are we going to do about that? Let's take the love and let's take the desire to be together. Let's take that off the table. Let's just go, okay, so we do love each other. Take it off the table. And then what's on the table there is how do we protect what we took off the table? How do we protect that now? We know we love each other. So what do we got to do now in order to make sure that that's fine and that it's protected and that it's going to grow and all that kind of stuff? And you don't do that by with the feeling part of that. You do that. It's a business. This is partnership in love and all that. It's a business relationship in a sense, so you take that off the table and then you go ahead and move from there. What are we going to do? How are we going to handle that?
Yes, and I think with everything in life, there's always that element of risk. And, there's a great saying that only gamble what you're prepared to lose, right?
Yeah.
And so in effect, if you do loan money to someone and they really, really, really need it, okay, maybe you will loan some money there and just expect that it may not come back. And that's okay. If you're okay with that, that's okay, right? And it depends what situation you're in as well. I think you need to also look after yourself. Sometimes some people just give so much and they end up depleting themselves as well, right? Or the people pleasers of the world. So I think we need to find balance there with the giving and the receiving and allowing that flow of money, because often most arguments, let's face it, whether it's in a partnership, in a relationship or partnership in business, most arguments are over money, right? And this is where, this is where things can get very ugly if there's not some very clear lines defined there, or if you take your eye off the ball. I know several people in business, they actually outsourced their financial control, and it could have been financial advisors, accountants. They've outsourced that to other people. They've trusted other people, and then they've found out that they've got majorly ripped off, right? And not always, of course, but there's situations out there. And for those who are tuning in right now live, I just want to say hello to our people on Instagram. Here we've got Guarded Body, Kerry Power, hello, Finn OS, good to see you. Kaza Rockies, Curiosities, Maharaji Raval is with us, Sammy K, Yogi, good to see you guys on Instagram. And for those joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, etc. right now, LinkedIn, we'd love to hear from you too. What are your thoughts around this topic today around partnership? So back to you now, Raymond. What are your thoughts on what's just been said?
Well, I want to say hi to Twitch. Hi, Twitch. How you doing? I think I know who that is. So that's pretty cool. What's I was thinking about something that while you were talking about that, and I was trying to make a correlation between the difference in trusting in a partnership and trusting in a different partnership, and I don't know how much we need to learn yet in order to apply the idea of a healthy trust to business and to money. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I have an answer for that. Inside a partnership, it's a common thing for people to say, well, I trusted her, I trusted him. And when you're doing sessions with people, I got off of being nice about that. I wanted to make a point. I trusted him, and I generally say, depending on who the person is, but I generally say, well, that was dumb. What the hell did you trust him for? What made you think that you could trust this person and give all this kind of stuff? Why did you think you could do that? And they're dumbfounded because we're supposed to trust. But we trust for our own comfort. We don't trust for a really legitimate reason. We trust because it makes us feel good. Well, we're in love and we do all this kind of stuff. Well, something, it doesn't work anymore. Trust comes in partnership. Trust comes from watching the other person, seeing their intention to have and protect a good partnership and you in that partnership. And when you see them on a regular basis coming back and saying, we need to have a meeting. We need to talk about this kind of stuff. I know that you want me to treat you a certain way. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what to do about that. Teach me what it is that I'm supposed to do because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want this to go south. When you hear that intention and you see that a person is working at it, at that point, you can say, maybe I could trust them a little bit. Maybe there's a reason to trust. And if I start to trust somebody, then I have a responsibility to help them do and perform the way that they want to so that we can be together. We can work this out together. So it's a very different kind of thing. And I think that people ought to understand that trust is really there. Trust is absolutely available to you, but you have to be smart about getting it. You have to be able to talk to each other. You have to say when things go bad. You have to say, something. Maybe before we talk about this thing, you ought to think about what it is that you're putting at risk right now. Maybe you ought to look at your list about what it is that you value. Those kinds of things. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about this and we'll see where we're going to go, because people will lose sight of what it is that they're having, especially when they get butt hurt, especially when that hurt goes deep and connects with other things. There's a lot of stuff that happens to people where it always triggers old stuff first.
Yes.
Nobody misses a phone call and then the person all of a sudden goes, oh, I'm insecure, that insecurity has been there forever. Missed the phone call, triggered it, brought it to the surface. But that insecurity is there. Now you know that the insecurity is there because of a phone call. Thanks the phone call. I'm glad that showed us something, because if you're insecure, let's work on fixing that insecurity. Let me tell you how much I care about you. Let me tell you what you mean to me. Let me tell you how smart you are, how I depend on you, what you bring to all this kind of stuff. Those kinds of things, absent of the phone call, helps a person feel secure, helps them feel connected.
Yes, very interesting. I just thought of the 5 love languages too. Also, understanding your partner's love language, I think, is really important, because, see, Raymond, by you saying that, letting your partner know how valued they are, to me, what I'm hearing is one of your love languages is words of affirmation, right?
Sure.
The partner, you could say as many words of affirmation as you want, but maybe that partner wants gifts, for example, right? And unless you give them gifts, they're not feeling loved as well. So I think, understanding people's love languages, the 5 love languages, I find fascinating. There's also touch, there's quality time, there's acts of service, doing something good for people, words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, and touch. So understanding the love language of the person that you're working with is really important, and getting conscious to where we're being unconscious. So around trust, a lot of people say, well, if you don't trust others, it means you don't trust yourself. And I would say, look, I have had some major trust issues, right? Major, and in fact, I probably still do, right? And I'm conscious of it because I'm single, right? I'm not in a relationship. I'm at the point now, I'm like, I can't be stuffed. I'm just happy to be alone and single at the moment. I'm not fully alone because I've got friends and I've got, I have my faith. However, there's a part of me that wants to be in a relationship, that wants to have a great companion. And then there's another part that I just cannot be bothered, and because, it took me 7 years to commit to a man. I committed to a man, ended up being a complete doozy. And, and it just, I feel really burned from that relationship. And now I'm, a few years on, I'm now, doing my own thing. And in effect, I'm kind of married to my work. I love what I do with my work. I've got some great friends around me and family and all that kind of thing. However, just getting conscious to, okay, what kind of trust issues might be there for you around others and around trusting yourself, because the more that we've been ripped off in some way, whether it's in a relationship or a business, what happens is the more we get ripped off, we actually lose faith in ourselves, because we made the decision to join partnership with that person, to start a relationship, to start a partnership, to start a business, to hand the money over. We made that decision. So then we lose faith in ourselves. We lose trust in ourselves the more that we get ripped off, in effect. It may be conscious or unconscious for people, but actually getting conscious to that can make a massive difference in our lives.
Yeah, I think that's all very good, all very valid. I think that what people should do, especially if you're going to have something that's worthwhile. If you've got your life, you've got your business, and you've got all these things that you're working at, you want somebody to come to you and say, I'm interested in you, and this is why. And this is what I think about you, and this is, I think. And it's like the business thing, the setup that we did early on in the show, about somebody walking up to you and saying, I want to be partners. And you saying, show me why. Tell me why. What do you see? What are you going to do? Why should I consider this? I mean, not in a bad way. Just, here, I'm busy. I've got my life. I've got all this kind of stuff. And you came up to me and you wanted to talk to me. And I think that's great. I appreciate it. But what's your plan? What are your intentions? What are you looking for? How healthy, and you're like, how healthy are you? Are you a nut job or what the hell? And those kinds of things are important, to be able to see that kind of stuff so you don't get taken down the road. If I'm trying to become partners with somebody, if I'm in a relationship and they screw up and all that, I'm going to be a whole lot more lenient and let things go, because you don't know what to do. But in a partnership, it's like, you screwed up. You said that you wanted to be partners. You screwed this all up and everything. How are we going to fix this? Don't tell me that it's never going to happen again, because if you tell me it's never going to happen again without a plan, it's a guarantee it will happen again. Absolute.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's not about forgiving you. It's you did whatever you did, and that's okay. That's all right. But don't tell them, and you could tell me you're sorry, but you need to tell me what the plan is. How's it going to be different? What should I look for, and how can I help you succeed with it too?
Yeah, most people just think, what's in it for me, right? The whiff of, right? What's in it for me? So when you reach out to someone for a partnership, and it could be that you just want to interview someone on your show, that's a partnership in effect, right?
Sure.
And you when we talk about equality, now you might have one person that has 100,000 followers and one person has 10,000 followers. Well, that's not true equality when it comes to the numbers. However, what's the intention behind the partnership? And you never know. Maybe that 10,000 followers with one person, maybe there's going to be more impact. They're a more engaged audience than the 100,000 who aren't engaged, as an example as well. So I think it's important, not to get too anal about this sort of equality thing, because I don't think really there's ever complete equality with any partnership. That's my belief. I don't think there's ever complete. I think there's always going to be someone who's going to give a bit more than the other, or someone who's going to do more than the other. That's my belief. What are your thoughts around that with the term equality?
I was just thinking about. I've been working with this Irene Gablenick, and she's helping a friend of mine that does she does marketing and stuff. And she was telling me that when I go on a show like yours, that my job in this thing is to make you look as good as I can possibly do. To be as brilliant as I can possibly be, so your people turn around to you and they say, "Hey guys, good show," because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. You guys are going to be on your own, but my job here is to be able to present something so that your people know how fantastic you are, what a great job you've done and what you're promoting, and so that they want to come back and see you again, so I think that kind of thing in the long run, followers are one thing. I lost tons of followers. I got scammed. I got in March, I got hacked and I lost everything. I just had to start from scratch again, and so, it's like, what can you do?
There's a lot of people lately that have gotten hacked. I mean, I'm one of them. I got hacked back in December. My main Facebook account got hacked.
I tell you,
that had 1,500 followers on it, 1,500 friends.
Yeah,
and it got hacked, and I still haven't gotten it back yet.
I had 1,800, and Meta doesn't care. Meta, that's the group that owns Facebook and everything.
Yeah.
There's nobody you can talk to. As a matter of fact, Meta, when the whole thing went down, and I was trying to connect with Meta, there's no phone number for them. There's no way to contact them at all. And right underneath, if you Google Meta, right underneath them, the first thing is Meta support. And you look at it and you're in trouble and you're scared and you go, what the hell's happening? I'm losing everything. It's all going south on me and I don't know what to do. And here's Meta, and right underneath of it is Meta support. You click it. And that Meta support's bullshit. That is absolutely, that's where the scam extends from. So, that helps anybody, because I don't have a nice warm place in my heart for Meta at this point.
I don't have a warm place in my heart for Facebook, let alone Meta.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff it's okay, but it's what we're stuck with.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, and the support is absolutely atrocious, and it absolutely is mind blowing that Meta, Meta platforms are worth $1.29 trillion US currently, $1.29 trillion US, and they have no phone number. But I tell you what, if you want to put out ads with Facebook, there's always going to be someone there that you can contact if you want to put advertising into Facebook or Meta, right? But if you actually want support for hacked accounts, it's pretty crap, right? So it blows me away that such a huge company can have no support phone number. Although I must say I'm grateful for Facebook that we're able to reach people right now on Facebook and on Instagram, which are all part of the Meta platforms, and WhatsApp is part of the platforms, and Threads, of course, they're all in the Meta platforms. Currently, I mean, social media is one of these things, whether you like it or hate it. We've got 5 billion people on the planet currently active social media users. So whatever you think of it, it's rolling out in the mass media world. And if we want to get our message to the masses, we got to go where the masses are, whether we like it or not, right?
Yeah. And I just, if I had a chance to talk to anybody at Meta, I would say, listen, just tell me that we have so many trillions of people that we're dealing with. We can't help you. And if we can't help you, nobody else can help you. You're on your own. Because without saying that, without being really upfront about it, then you're led to all these different places looking for help. And I don't think that that's fair. I think it would be very easy for them to do. And I would have appreciated that. I would have looked and they said, sorry, we're just too big. We cannot do it. We get billions of people on here every single day. We cannot do it. So don't go anyplace else. Just eat it. I'd be okay with that.
I get it.
Seriously, that'd be fine by me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, at least they were honest, at least they're being honest and not just hiding. It kind of right now, it just seems like they're hiding. They just don't care. And the only time we are going to care about you is if you spend money with us on ads.
Sure. Yeah. I hope they don't shut me down tonight. They're all, there's a zillion people on tonight, but they're listening to us.
Look, the good news is you can recover some hacked accounts. Now, I had a Facebook account hacked ages ago, which I actually never was able to recover that one. However, I did have my Instagram hacked a little while ago, and I did work out how to unhack it. And I did a lot of searching, and I looked up a lot of different things online, and I found a way. In the end, I had to actually email through to Meta. I had to send them a video looking to the side and all that sort of thing. But I was able to get it back. So I think if you're resilient enough with it, if you look into it enough, and don't pay people to get your account back, because there's a lot of scammers that are asking for $100 here and there to do it for you, and they're just rip-offs. So so definitely don't go that way. But there are ways that you can get the account back. So just look further than you might normally look. Do a bit more searching, and I'm confident you can get your account back. The other thing to know with Facebook is you can download all of your content. There's ways in the settings you can actually go back and download everything, so that you make sure you have your photos and your, all the things that we put on socials, because you don't effectively you don't own any of it once it goes on Meta. They take claim to all of your stuff. So you want to make sure you have backup of all of your photos and videos and your content.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I actually, fortunately, I did all of that before my Facebook account got hacked. I think it was a couple months before that. I just kind of wanted a backup of stuff just in case. And so I do have like all my old photos, which I'm really grateful that I took the time to do.
I just miss the followers and stuff like that. I really don't go back and look at anything anymore. My honey does. She's always looking at, we went to Europe, and she looks at the pictures, and, I got in my head, but I don't even know how to find it in my phone. It's there somewhere, huh?
I'm curious, Raymond, how long you've been with your partner or your wife, is it?
Yeah, it's my honey. Yeah, 28 years. 28 years in July,
See, that's amazing. My parents have been together 54 years, and extraordinary. They made a commitment. They had their wedding vows. They committed to honouring each other till death do us part. And nowadays, it's a very much a throwaway society, and that's why a lot of partnerships, 60%, end in divorce right nowadays. And things have certainly changed when it comes to patience around partnerships. And I really want to share here the 3 C's of a great relationship that I heard quite a while ago. The 3 C's is commitment, compromise, and communication. Now, compromise, I like the term collaborate rather than compromise. although there might be a little bit of where you feel a little bit of give and take, etc. So I really love that. And I think communication, we're coming back to where we started with this conversation,
Sure.
communication is absolutely massive. I want to welcome, hello, Damien Booth on Instagram. We've got Chua Authentic has joined us on Instagram. Hello, hello. We are about to wrap up the show. So please let us know what you thought of the show if you're tuning in right now on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, wherever you're tuning in. Welcome aboard. And if you are watching the replay as well, let us know what you thought of this conversation. So as we start to wrap up, final thoughts about the truth about equality and partnerships. Raymond.
Nothing beats it. It's the truth in partnerships. It is really, it's there for you. It's there for you, and it's something that you should try and take advantage of. It is part of something that will absolutely complete you, and then you can develop good relationship as a result of that.
Yeah, beautiful. And Raymond, if people want to work with you, how can they connect with you?
So the best way to do it, if you're looking for a session, then reach out to me directly. It's ray.innerpower@gmail.com. If you'd like to know more about me, you can go to my website, innerpowerinsights.com.
Empowerinsights.com.
Innerpowerinsights.com, and you can go and buy the book.
Innerpowerinsights.com.
How come I can't do that? There you go. Universal Guide to a Healthy Selfish Relationship /partnership.
Wonderful.
Something like that.
And do you have a favorite quote or motto that you would like to share with us as well?
Something I hand out all the time, and I live by it. It's I have no idea what's going on, but I know I'll be okay. And the other thing is, I wrote the other thing down here because it's something that I use. It's something that I use for businesses. It says, "Don't do anything to get close. Get close to do everything."
I love that. Very, very cool. So once again, for those joining us, connect with Ray at innerpowerinsights.com. That's inner, INNER, power, POWER, insights, INSIGHTS.com. Or look up Raymond. You'll find him also on Facebook, or ray.innerpower@gmail.com, as we've got up on the screen there.
There you go.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Beautiful. It's been great having you on the show, Raymond. Thank you so much. And Ken, for those who want to connect with you, where can they go?
Well, a couple of things before we get into that. Well, actually, first, let's do the main link here. So you can connect with me very easily at www.masteryweightloss.com/connect. And that's should be very easy to remember. Mastery, the way it's spelled, weight, the way it's spelled, loss, the way it's spelled, .com, connect. Can't get any easier than that, guys. So on there, first of all, a little bit about myself here. I am unapologetically a faith-based weight loss coach. I empower my clients to master their weight and health goals through a 7-part framework that I use, applying Christian principles that ignites them to achieve mastery in sustainably keeping the weight off once they've lost it, all without a diet. Okay. Because that's what I've done. I've kept my weight off for 6+ years now. I've lost 62.5 pounds and kept it off for 6+ years, all without a diet. So in that list of links to connect with me, at the very top of it is going to be a link to join my boot camp. And my boot camp, I'm giving away my 3 secrets to being able to break those sugar addictions, break those hunger issues, break the snacking issues, break the cycle of losing, gaining, never being able to keep the weight off. And I'm giving away my 3 powerful secrets in this mini boot camp series. You'll be equipped with an empowered mindset. You're going to be equipped to spot the food industry lies and avoid the common pitfalls. You're going to be equipped to see past the marketing deceptions, the deceptive marketing that these companies commonly use on the average Joe. You might be out there making all the heartfelt, healthy choices and really making that heartfelt effort. And then you're wondering on the back end why the scale isn't moving, why you're not getting the results you want, why you're stuck in a plateau. There's a good chance that you have bought into the marketing that's out there. These companies, they're marketing stuff to you that's healthy, so they say, but then you discover that it's not healthy at all. And that's the deception that they're used. I help you to see past all of that and finally find a ground that you can stand solid on and no longer be moved by the industry fads or that marketing messaging anymore. So on that link to connect with me, you can book into my boot camp. It's only $75, you guys, and that is a steal for what you're getting. You get booklets with each session and you get the recordings as well. And so that is a steal. So you've got the link in there to sign up for my boot camp. And then also in there, you've got a link to book an appointment with me on my calendar. That is for free. So if you're curious about the boot camp, but you've got some questions, connect with me. I'd love the opportunity to get to know you better and vice versa, and to answer any questions you have. And there's a couple other links on there to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then there's a link to connect with me on Facebook. So those are my links. And my quote for today is partnership is not a is not a posture, but a process. It's a continuous journey of collaboration, compromise, and mutual respect. That's by somebody by the name of Kenneth Blanchard.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ken. Love that. Love your passion for health. Boot camp is amazing. I recommend for those who want to take their health and life to the next level, go along and work with Ken. He's amazing.
Yes, Aldwyn, my co-host, has been through my boot camp. She knows the in-depthness of it.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, and I've actually toned up a bit, would you believe, Ken, because I'm now a lot more conscious of the food that I'm eating, and I do read the labels on everything. And fascinating. In fact, just this morning, I was at a breakfast event, the Gold Coast Referral Group meeting this morning with Kathy Osborne, who's running for Burleigh for council in the Burleigh area here, and she was telling me about what happens with dairy cows. I didn't realize. I mean, I'd heard something about dairy cows, and this has just turned me right off milk now, hearing about what happens the minute that calves are born in these dairy farms. They're taken away from the mum, and the male calves are sent off to slaughter straight away. So the baby calves never get the milk from their mum. They're taken straight away so that all the milk can go into producing, go into milk. And then the female calves are kept, and they're fed all the sort of rotten milk, the old milk or whatever, and the male calves are just sent off to slaughter. And she was saying she lived in a dairy farm, worked in this environment, and it was absolutely horrible. She said what happens in dairy farms, and she said some of these dairy cows, they because their whole life they're just producing babies and then milking. She said some of them after 8 years are so exhausted that they actually just collapse and die. They're that exhausted.
Wow.
From milking their whole life. And I tell you what, after hearing this story this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do an animal action fundraiser for calves. It's got to be the next one. We're going to do one on bees this year, but next year I'm going to do something around calves. And now that's it. No more milk for me, no more milk products. That's just completely turned me off. I cannot support that kind of animal cruelty. That is absolutely disgusting. And if more people knew what they're ingesting, then they'd think twice around what they put into their bodies, and that sort of cruelty is absolutely horrible. So look into it more. There's all sorts of Facebook groups around it. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but talking about health, people don't realize what they're ingesting. With the dairy industry and a lot of the meat industry as well, Ken, as you know, and the fake advertising out there on so many products that people think they're having healthy food. Like we pitch milk as something for calcium, right? could be a whole other topic, but do your
Mm-hmm.
research with everything, my friends. Do your research. We've got Shakes here on Instagram. Has just joined us. Slight tangent there on milk. So next time, think about the poor dairy cows. Think about the dairy cows when you go to have milk. My goodness. Anyway, and there's alternatives to milk, of course, that you might want to consider. Some vegetable-based alternatives. Anyway, moving right along. Now, for those who want to connect with me, you can do so at linktree/Aldwyn, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. I have an amazing webinar on next week. In fact, Thursday, around this time next week, 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Next
I'll
Thursday.
be there.
Which will be Wednesday night for you in America. It'll be around 6-7 p.m. Wednesday night, roughly around there. And we have the How to Build a Global Brand webinar. It's going to be a free webinar. It's going to be amazing.
Oh.
Come along. I'm going to share what's working right now with omnipresence marketing, with organic marketing, where you don't waste money on advertising. You can come along and you'll learn all about how to build a brand, how to get your messaging clear, etc., with what you're putting out there. And it's going to be amazing. So hop along, How to Build a Global Brand. You can register in my link tree there. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, Aldwyn Altuney Media Queen TV. We've just hit over 265,000 views of the 1,300 or so videos that I have on YouTube. And that's even with shadow banning and even with some strikes. I've still had over 265,000 views. So keep putting your content out there, guys. Keep being consistent and keep living your love, I say. There's a whole lot of media resources as well you'll find in my links on my media website. We help people get publicity and get mass media exposure. So hop along there if you want some of that. And you can book a call with me. I have limited times in my calendar. So the sooner you get in, if you want to book a call, then do that through that as well. Linktree/Aldwyn, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. You'll find all my links. And my quote for today, and I'll say, by the way, a quick thank you to Kachina Vivo. They've helped me with my live stream today to get ready today at the casino here on the Gold Coast. I am away from home. Now, here's a great quote by Donald Miller. When you stop expecting people to be perfect, you can like them for who they are.
Ooh, good one.
You stop expecting people to be perfect. You can like them for who they are and accept things as they are and as they're not. They just are the way they are. And just life is empty and meaningless, as they say in Landmark. It's empty and meaningless. It's empty and meaningless. It's just the meaning that we give to things that creates the significance and can create drama in your life. So, notice for yourself. I recommend today, as we've chatted about this amazing topic, the truth about equality in partnerships. Notice where you might be being hard on yourself or hard on others, and how can you bring some more kindness, some more love to the situation, and be a stand for areas that also that move you in some ways, such as we've done here today as well. Any final thoughts before we wrap up, Raymond or Ken? Any final thoughts?
I'm pretty good. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. All I want to do right now is just thank you guys. I really, really appreciate everything. And, I can't wait to hear some of the stuff that people say. What do they think about this? It was cool.
That's awesome. You're welcome so much. It was a pleasure having you on our show this evening.
Yep.
Yes, it absolutely was. Any final thoughts, Ken, from you?
No, not really. Just you guys, you don't know what you're missing. Join my boot camp. I've only got 3 spots left. They are filling quickly for this next group of people. Again, they're one-on-one sessions with me. It's not in a group setting yet. And I actually like that because I'm able to dive deeper and it's interactive. But this is not just some kind of fly by night little trinky thing. This is a very extensive, intensive, in-depth boot camp, and you will walk away with empowerment and many aha moments. That is my guarantee and promise.
And on the point of, because I've now planted the seed of, there's alternatives to milk or dairy products. And I remember reading in Fit for Life, chapter 10, many years ago, they said human beings are not meant to be suckling from cows, right? Human beings are not meant to be suckling from cows. And it's almost like sometimes we hear things and we sort of forget about it or go back to routine or whatever. What are some healthy alternatives to dairy, to milk from cows?
I think you've got to be very careful because even the alternatives I have found have gotten, and extensive now, especially Aldwyn, about the industrial seed oils. But some of these alternatives are actually putting seed oils in these alternatives. So even some of these alternatives, you've got to turn the freaking thing around. That's a statement I quote or I coined through my boot camp. Turn the freaking thing around and look at the ingredients. So almond milk can be a great, alternative. Not soy milk. Stay away from all soy milk. Any soy products. Soy is 95% of it's made in a factory. That should tell you something right there. 95% of it's made in a factory. And soy is just, it's not the healthy thing that a lot of people tout it to be. So I mean, I don't want to go on a rant about that because we'll be here for another hour. But that's just part of it.
Yeah,
yes.
So almond milk can have vegetable. In fact, I was shocked when I looked at the almond milk that I had at home, and it had vegetable oil in the actual ingredients.
Case in point, people, right there. Case in point.
I was shocked. So what's a healthy alternative, like just off the top of your head? Because there's oat milk, there's rice milk.
You can find almond milk that doesn't have seed oils in it. You just gotta look through the brands. And then coconut milk is another great one. Those are the two main that I would recommend. This oat milk and everything else, oats and granola. You guys, honestly, all that is a super carb. Number one, it's a super carb, and it'll just shoot your blood sugar way up there, which is not good. And number two, most of these oats and most of these granolas that are out there are made in like GMO crops that have been, or they're regular crops, but they have been heavily sprayed with glyphosate, which is Roundup weed killer. And these oats and granolas are soaking that in, which it's then going into your body. So my two best alternative recommendations are coconut milk and almond milk. But again, with both of those, look at the ingredients, find out what's in it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought I was doing good with granola. I thought, I love granola.
I am sorry to burst your bubble, my friend, but it's not the healthy thing that people tout it to be. Honestly, I just view it's nothing but a super carb. And if you're starting your day with that, why do you want to start your day with spiking your blood sugar? Start your day with some good old-fashioned eggs and some good protein.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, fascinating. When you start to dig, and this is why Ken is known as Fat Fighter Ken and also Fact Finder Ken, because he does the research on all these things. And when you go to his boot camp, you'll learn all about it. So mind-blowing. You will literally, you won't be looking at things the same way again. And then coming back to our topic of partnerships, of course, back to partnerships, of course, no wonder people have trust issues because we've been lied to about so many things over the years. Oh, my gosh, so many things. And so do your research, my friends. Sending you much love today. Thank you so much for joining us on Total Truth Show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Episode 79, episode 80 coming up. Oh, my gosh, another milestone. Yay. And it's important in partnerships to celebrate. Thank you so much, Raymond. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you for everyone who's joined us live as well. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Share the love. If you know someone that could really benefit and learn a lot from this show, please share the love and subscribe to our YouTube channels. Follow Total Truth Show on Facebook. Check us out on Spotify and all the podcast platforms as well. Sending you much love. Have an extraordinary night or day wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again next time here on Total Truth Show. Mwah. Bye for now. See you. Bye. See you later. Bye.